Ready?
It's time to talk sports. National, local, professional, completely unprofessional, high school and college.
Let's take it even further off the hook.
It's the Zach Gelb Show
We are rolling
on Fox Sports 920, The Jersey.
on 2 hours of sleep, but I don't care. Welcome back in. Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920, The Jersey. Got in late this morning, saw the Patriots defeat the Atlanta Falcons in Houston at NRG Stadium. Awesome scene, awesome comeback as the Pats were down 25 points. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady anchor a historical comeback. And I guess Sid Rosenberg, and by the way, let me just set up this scene real quickly before we bring Sid on. Friday at the Super Bowl, I'm on Radio Row. It's my 8th Radio Row. I'm starting to sound like Francesa. No, I did not invent the thing. But I'm on my 8th Radio Row, and I thought to myself, Stevie Cohen's been very kind to me. My father's there. Let me do a prediction segment. And my dad comes on, and it was a mistake letting him on the air, and I love my father. But he gave 2 predictions. He picked Atlanta and then picked New England. He said Atlanta's either going to blow them out or New England's going to win in a close one. I didn't love that analysis. Stevie Cohen comes on and nails the score. I come on, obviously, it's my show, and I said the Patriots are going to win in overtime. I guess after the game, my dad left on Saturday. I stayed for the game, got back this morning. My dad posted on Facebook that that's the greatest game of all time. And Sid said, no, great comeback and finish. Snooze fest for 2.5 quarters, not even close to Giants games, Cowboys and Steelers and all that great stuff. And I just wrote back to Sid in a joking manner and jest, hey, Sid, stick to politics. Because now Sid is a big political guru on WABC. So an impromptu appearance right now with Sid Rosenberg on the Zach Gelb Show. Sid, why are you so mad?
Well, first of all, Zachy, people have to understand when you say stick to politics, that is a brilliant comeback for you because what happens is throughout the whole campaign and election, if I would say something bad about Donald Trump and or something favorable about Hillary Clinton, people would always say, hey, Sid, stick to sports.
Exactly.
And as you know, that really pissed me off, stick to sports, stick to sports. And now I'm actually in the field. They can't say that anymore. So your response was great. Look, here's the deal. Your father, the great Bob Gelb, who I love as much as you do, well, maybe not as much, but it's close, his Facebook post was idiotic.
I don't think so. I think it's one of the best games you'll ever see.
Listen. I love you to death.
Sid, they were down 25 points.
I don't care if they were down by – I understand that. And look, you're a Patriot fan.
So what Giant game – wait, hold on, Sid. What Giant game were you talking about?
Hold on. I'll give you a bunch of games. First of all, the Giant game, both of them, quite frankly. I mean, Plaxico Burress catches a touchdown.
Hold on. That game was a snooze fest, the first one, until the last few possessions. Yes, it was. It was a snooze fest until Tyreek caught the football. It was a low-scoring, boring game.
It was not a snooze fest
because
it was a close game. What you're missing here is that for 2.5 quarters, this was not a competitive football game. There was no reason to believe with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter the Pats had a shot. They were down by 25.
That's what makes it great.
Both Giant-Patriot games were close all the way through. Cowboy-Steeler games, great. The Steeler-Cardinal game where Fitzgerald catches a touchdown.
Very good game.
Beats him. That's a better game. Giants-Bills, 20-19. Noah misses a field goal to win the game. All these games were nail-biters for 4 quarters. This game, literally, for 2.5 quarters. I got to tell you, middle of the third quarter, I went outside, got a coffee with Danielle. Came back upstairs, it was 28-9. So, look, you want to tell me the greatest comeback of all time? That's a fact.
Without a doubt.
You want to tell me great finish? No question about it. Great fourth quarter? No question about it. But a football game is 4 quarters. So in this case, a little more. 60 minutes. And for over 40 minutes, this was a boring, lousy football game. That's the bottom line.
Sid, I had John McClain on the show from the Houston Chronicle, who's been covering football forever. He said before the game Tom Brady was the greatest quarterback ever. And he said now you can make the argument that he's the greatest player to ever play in the National Football League. Didn't say he was, but said you could make the argument. Where do you lie on that?
Yeah, Julian Edelman said the same thing after the game, the greatest player. I've said for years he's the greatest quarterback. I remember, Zach, it got to be 8-9 years ago, having brawls on the air with Dan Levitard and Boog Shambi when they were trying to sell me Peyton Manning. My father's generation tried to sell me Johnny Unitas. And Joe Montana's there, too. For me, you could make the argument. For me, the greatest player, though, is still Jerry Rice, only because I believe there's a greater separation between him and the second-best wide receiver than there is between Brady and, let's say, Joe Montana, Johnny Unitas and those guys. So you can make the argument, but for me, I got Tom Brady second to Jerry Rice and probably Jim Brown or Lawrence Taylor third.
It's a very fair argument to have, and it's tough because all these positions are different, and that's why I like to just keep it to, who's the best quarterback, who's the best wide receiver. But I guess if you're making the case for Brady, and who knows, he may win another Super Bowl before this is all said and done. He's going to play, according to him, until he sucks. That's what he said.
He's in great shape. Why not? He's in great shape.
He looks younger now than he did in 2001.
Right.
But if I'm making the argument for Brady, here's the argument that I'm making. I know he has Belichick, and Belichick is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But the argument I make for Brady is you look at with what he won in 2001, 2003, 2004, and even now, there's no Hall of Fame player on that offense.
There's no doubt about it. That's my argument all along as well. He's won with less than anybody. Now, he's had good offensive lines, no doubt about it. He's had guys that may not be flashy and Hall of Famers, but they're all good. And he does have a Hall of Fame tight end right now in Rob Gronkowski. Let's not forget that. But you're 100% right. He doesn't have Swan, Stallworth, and Franco Harris and all these guys. And what's funny is the one year he had two guys that were unbelievably great, Randy Moss and Wes Welker. That was the year he lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. But to win Super Bowls with the likes of Deion Branch and David Patton and Troy Brown and even these guys now, Amendola and Edelman, it is an amazing accomplishment. No one in the history of the game has won more with less than Tom Brady.
And you look at the backs, too. They've just done a great job in producing these running backs that aren't studs, but you look at the history of their backs, whether it's Antoine Smith, Kevin Falk, Shane Vereen in Super Bowl 49 was brilliant, and last night you saw James White. That was the unexpected hero of this game to me, and James White.
They have a lot of guys who are very versatile. A lot of the guys you just mentioned, by the way, Zach, do things, more than one thing coming out of the backfield. When Belichick was with the Giants, for example, he coached the defense, but they had guys like Dave Meggett who would run the football, catch the ball out of the backfield. That's what a James White is. That's what a Kevin Falk was. And then they've got guys that were seemingly done in other places, guys like Corey Dillon. Even LeGarrette Blount, this guy was a disaster coming out of Oregon, obviously, and didn't make it with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they've got a way of taking on guys that are nice players, but either at the end of their careers or been problems elsewhere, and they turn into productive players because when they get there, they go, I've got Belichick. I've got Tom Brady. I can't disappoint these guys. So they take guys with talent. They turn out being even better than they were before.
In terms of politics, Sid, and everything now with sports is Trump, Trump, Trump still. It even goes into the sports world. In terms of the White House, Martellus Bennett says he's not going to go to the White House. Do you have a problem with that?
Yeah, I don't. I really don't. That's his choice. I know people say that's disgusting. Respect the presidency, but it's happened before. Tim Thomas won the Conn Smythe years ago for the Boston Bruins, same city, Boston. He didn't go. That's up to the person. Listen, I would love it at the end of the day if everybody respected the presidency and everybody kind of treated Trump even better. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I don't even like Donald Trump. That's not the way it goes, and if that's what Bennett wants to do, that's his prerogative.
But you understand how people get very offended by Donald Trump with the polarizing figure that he is.
No, listen, I get it. I understand it. And he does say things that are very stupid. He does things that are very stupid. But at the same time, I also think that these protests and these riots and even to a certain extent the Women's March, which was celebrated in so many cities and countries throughout the world, I think those people get carried away as well. So I think right now we're living in a time where the Trump supporters get carried away, the Trump detractors, they get way too carried away. There is no middle ground. I tell you what, covering that every single day, now football's over. Now you're going to be talking Holy Cross Bucknell the next 2 months until the Yankees and Mets play. Covering what I cover every single day, Zach, there's great stuff to cover. Donald Trump is the gift that just keeps giving. He's like herpes, doesn't go away.
Why do you think I took off the first week of March, Sid? It's because there's really nothing going on right now. But since we have you here, let's try to make some headlines because you know you're always good for making a headline or two. Mike Francesa is retiring or leaving WFAN. A lot of people will assume, and I know what happens when you assume you make an ass out of you and me, that you have potential to fill the afternoon drive slot at WFAN. Would you be interested, and will that be a possibility?
It's funny, too, because Mike just actually mentioned me with Mad Dog last week on Radio.
He doesn't like you anymore.
Together. Yeah, he found a way to call me, you ready for this, Zach? Delusional, the word delusional, 4 times in 6 seconds. We counted it on the Imus show this morning. Called me delusional 4 times in 6 seconds because I have told the world time and time again on WABC about how when Mad Dog left, he tried desperately to hire me and Max Kellerman. He denies this story. I have no idea why he denies it. I don't know what his motive is. but he keeps denying it, and I'm telling everybody out there it's true. On my kids, I'm telling you it's true. In terms of replacing Mike, my name always comes up, but I can tell you this, it ain't going to happen because I just 2 weeks ago signed a 3-year extension to be at WABC to work with Bernard and who knows what else along the way. So, I think I got along great with CBS still. I'll always love WFAN, but I'm going in a different direction, so I'm not the guy to get that job, no.
Now, I'm calling BS, and I know that's the name of your new show with Bernard and Sid. Here's why I call BS. You're telling me if Chernoff gets on the phone tomorrow and says, hey, 3-year deal, we're going to pay you nice, not Francesa salary, but we're going to pay you nice, there's no way you're not going over there if they offer that. I don't think they're going to offer it to you, but if they offer it to you, you're going.
Well, the only problem then becomes you have to pay me an awful lot of money because you have to pay out the 3 years remaining on my WABC contract as well, and that's a heck of a lot of money. So, listen, I know your father, he said the same thing to me because I said 2 weeks ago, I said, oh, my God, championship weekend, who cares? It was the day of the inauguration. I'm going to talk about the Packers and the Falcons, the day of the inauguration. Your father's like, oh, come on, it's football. I'm like, it doesn't matter. So I really am moving in a different direction. I like what I'm doing right now. And, again, I just signed a 3-year extension. So if Chernoff can call me, but I'm under contract.
Yeah, just say something stupid. You'll get out of that buyout in 2 seconds.
Those days are over, my friend. I haven't done something like that in over 15 years now.
Now, Sid, real quickly before we let you run, getting back to this other argument. And this is what I find funny. And I know my dad and I were always linked together because of his career in the business. Why the heck did you call me when you had an issue with my dad and not me? Like, you have my dad's number.
No. First of all, I wanted to talk to you. Second of all, I wanted to congratulate you from the time I met you when you were, 7, 8 years old?
Yeah, I was young.
Tom Brady jersey inside the FAN studio. And I will tell you this, and I mean this sincerely. When the Patriots, and I got a lot of friends in Boston, a lot of friends, even Diassi I know coming up next on your show. And I know a lot of the Patriot fans, but I will tell you this. When the Patriots win a football game, one of the very first people I think of, if not the first, is you.
I love it. And I'll tell you right now, Sid, last night I was in a sense of euphoria and a sense of disbelief. For the first time in my life, and you know me, I'm never afraid to have an opinion or share my thoughts. I've been doing it ever since I was at the young age of 7 when I came on to your show with Joe Beningo and bashed Joe Beningo for being a Jet fan. For the first time in my life last night, I was speechless. The Falcons fan next to me at the game, she was concerned for my health. She started saying, you need to breathe. I couldn't formulate a sentence. It was one of the craziest things I'll ever see, and I was waiting for the alarm to go off last night and for it to be a dream, but it wasn't a dream, Sydney.
No, it really was. It was an amazing, amazing comeback. And, look, as soon as they kicked the field goal, it made it 28-12. Now you're down by 16. Now you got to get 2 2-point conversions. That ain't easy. But I started to say to myself, oh, my God, they got a real shot here. And, listen, Brady was magnificent and did a great job, and he wins his 4th MVP and his 5th Super Bowl. A lot of guys today are yelling back and forth, why didn't the Falcons run the football? And you can do that all day.
That was stupid by them.
Yeah, but I know what me personally, I never feel comfortable questioning the play calling.
Okay.
For me, it's about execution. And if you're Matt Ryan, whether you run the ball or throw the football, you cannot take a sack on that play. You've got to get rid of the football. No matter what happens, do not lose 10 yards. So you can bitch and yell about running the football more or less. But if you're Matt Ryan, you're a big-time quarterback, you cannot get sacked on that play.
You're right on that. So you're not budging here because you just made a pretty good argument to call it one of the all-time great games. I know it wasn't good for 60 minutes, but then it went into overtime. First time a Super Bowl has been into overtime, down 25 points. To me, that makes it an all-time great game.
Again, I can't do that because there have been too many other sports that have been great games. Games like a baseball game for 8 innings, the score is 10-0. A team scores 11 runs in the 9th inning. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing, amazing finish. But the question is, who stuck around to saw it? And I can tell you, being a sports guy still with my politics and surrounded by family and friends who love sports, a lot of guys tuned out in the 3rd quarter. You're at the game, it's a different story. You're a Patriot fan. A lot of people tuned out. I'd love to see the ratings between the 1st quarter and midway through the 3rd. So if they came back, they saw a great finish. But for me, a great game, it has to be entertaining from beginning to the end, at least the first half. You can't start getting good into the 4th quarter and call that a great game.
Did you like Lady Gaga last night? It was tough for me to tell. Okay,
So,
you see, Sid, hold real quickly. It was tough for me to tell in the stadium because my team was down by that much. It looked like a cool show, and I have to watch this thing back again tonight, and I'm going to the minute I get off the air, but it was tough to tell in the stadium. It looked cool, but, I was a little out of it because my team was getting killed.
Oh, I'm sure. No, you were destroyed. Of course, you were destroyed.
Devastated.
Me, I didn't have a horse in the race, so I couldn't wait to see the halftime. So I wanted to see if, in fact, she would take some shots at Donald Trump. I know the NFL was very worried about that after Beyonce last year, but to her credit, she sang the songs, and that was kind of a little bit of a shot at Trump's immigration policy, but not a big shot. And in the end, she did her hits. The lighting was great. The sets were great. I thought she was fantastic.
Sydney, I got to give you the Mike Francesa hand wave because I got to get to Steve Diassi, but I appreciate it.
I love you. You're doing a great. I got to tell you sound great. I'm sure your dad is very proud. I'm very proud, and congrats on a Patriot victory. Tell Steve I said hello.
You got it. When am I coming on BNS? When am I coming on the BS show? Come on.
We should do that this week. Let me talk to Bernie tonight. We'll get you on this week so you can celebrate the Patriots.
You got it. Bernard probably won't let me on, but it's okay.
You're funny.
Remember, I called Imus a grouchy grandpa once when I was like 4, so that's why. It's probably a tough day for him.
He's still mad at you and your father.
Who isn't mad at him these days? Sydney, thank you.
All right, kiddo. Love you.
There's Sid Rosenberg joining us on the Zach Gelb Show. An impromptu appearance by Sydney Arthur Ferris Rosenberg.